it seems like every time he steps on the court, he does something pretty amazing that is sort of adding to a new aura about him.
Yeah, he's in a really good rhythm. His leadership has been off the chart this year. His defense has been terrific, and just offensively, there's very few players that, from an offensive standpoint, have the ability to be able to score with the ball in his hands and off the ball, and still be able to distribute, get other people involved, and he just can do that. His shot selection is great. It's just in a really nice rhythm now, and it's nice to see him being celebrated for the type of player, the type of person, and the type of leader he is.
He said he's losing himself more in the game now than he ever has. Is that what you've seen from him?
Yeah, he's. Well, one of the things that I told the team was that the way that he is playing is a way that he prepares and the way that he practices. And I'm not saying that he didn't prepare and practice in the past. I'm just saying there is a reason, and I wanted to highlight that to our younger players in terms of what allows you to be successful out there on the floor. It's your preparation and your practice, and RJ's a great example of that.
Hubert, you've seen Jay Wash since he was in high school before his knee injury and then through the injury and the rehab. How gratifying was it for you as his coach to see him have a career best scoring night tonight and be really efficient from the floor?
Yeah, he really was, and one of the things that I thought he gave us life is, we've talked about how we've got to get better in terms of rebounding. He attacked the offensive glass, got second chance opportunities, kept the ball alive, was really good defensively. In practice lately, we've been playing him and Armando together, and we had them out there tonight. And they're two bigs, but they're different, and gives us a bigger and different look. It helps us in terms of rebounding, and I'm really happy that he had a great game tonight.
Hubert, the bench unit obviously had 43 points today. What do you kind of make of, I guess, this year's, second unit? How much of an asset they've, kind of been, especially with a couple of career highs off the bench today?
Well, I've said before, the guys that play, those are the minutes that they have earned through their preparation and through their practice, and it's great that you can have guys like Jalen Washington, Jay Witt, Seth, and those guys come off the bench and give you such positive play on both ends of the floor. And so I was just really excited by a number of guys coming off the bench, having career highs, getting that rhythm, getting that confidence, because that's something that is going to be needed heading into conference season.
Hubert, what was your impressions of the Eric Montross tribute and the moment of silence there before the game?
Very sad, very hard. Me being in that, having lost my mother at a young age, you know the road ahead for Eric's wife and his children. And every day it gets worse. And so my heart goes out to their family.
Coach, basketball question. Where do you think your team is right now? Nothing but ACC games left. And what are some of the things that you really like about where they are now than where they were the night you played Radford?
I like our depth. I like that. I like our versatility on the defensive end. I think that's, today we picked up full court a lot, and so we're able to do that. Just our versatility on the offensive end, being able to score consistently in the paint, but also being able to shoot the ball from the outside. I felt like tonight, from an offensive standpoint, it was good to great. We had 20 assists. Felt like for a couple games the ball was stopping at good, and tonight it stopped at great. And this was our last non-conference game, and I feel like through the entire non-conference season, we have really seen every style, everything, pretty much. And I think it puts us in a position to compete against a really strong and really tough ACC conference.
Hubert, along those lines, we've talked about the schedule a lot. Some of us.
We gotta play somebody. Who do you want us to play?
I love who you're playing. It's interesting. One thing you haven't had is a true road game yet. I mean, you've been all over the map with these neutral site games, but I mean, do you, along the lines of what you're saying, do you feel like you faced the tests that will help you in these next 3 road games, even though you haven't been in someone else's gym yet?
I think it'll help us. I think it's overrated in terms of playing in somebody else's gym. The basket is still the same. As a player, I never was like, man, I don't know if I can play there because of the crowd, and I'm away from the Smith Center, I'm away from home. I just, whether it's at Pittsburgh and Clemson, North Carolina State, or Chapel Hill, let's compete and see what we can do.
I guess along those same lines, what have you kind of liked about the team's approach to being in different environments, I guess in this case neutral site environments, especially with, I guess, kind of the newness that exists on the team?
Well, you guys talk about neutral site. I don't think it was neutral in Charlotte. I thought that was a home game. I don't know if it was neutral in Atlanta.
MSG.
I don't know if it was neutral in MSG. So what's your definition of neutral? It wasn't neutral against Arkansas.
I guess away from Chapel Hill, in a different environment.
Oh my gosh.
Not that I was paying attention to it. But, it just is what it is, and I'm excited about, I've grown up with the ACC, and it's the best conference in college basketball, and I just love it. And so, whether it's home or the road, this is an exciting time to compete against great competition within your conference, against known opponents.
Just going back to the bench, can you talk a little bit about what a game like this means for guys further along down the bench, like James Okonkwo hitting the biscuits on the layup, chest bumping his teammates?
Well, I told him, I can't remember how much time left. I think it was like 3 minutes, 33 seconds left. We were on the bench, and I said, these are important. These are big time minutes. I said, you're going to be in situations where it's tied 81-81, and you guys are going to be in the game, and you're going to be called in your job and your responsibilities to be able to execute on both ends of the floor. And so this is an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity to get better. And I told him that I had been in that situation before. I said, later on in the year, when you're sitting on that bench and it's tied with 3 minutes to go, you're going to look at me and say, you were right, coach, and you'll be prepared to be able to step up to the moment.
Sticking on the bench for one last thing, you talk about the guys earning their minutes. Do you feel like this is the deepest bench, or the guys you've been most confident in since you've become a head coach in terms of just number of guys you can throw off?
I don't look at previous years. I'm just specifically focused on this year, and I like what the guys have done coming off the bench, and I'm just specifically thinking about this year's team.
Going back to RJ, is it just a matter of confidence, or did he work on different things this offseason to get to where he is now?
Well, I think he's always been a hard worker. So he wanted to be a more efficient scorer. He wanted to be a better defensive player, and he found the confidence and the maturity to be a leader, and found a voice. And so, but I also think it's just growth. I know we get away from that, but like every year, freshman, sophomore, junior, you just become more comfortable the more times that you do something, but not rarely, but in this age of collegiate sports, a lot of times you don't get a player like RJ staying 4 years and continuing to grow.
How much, if any, has Elliott helped with that, in that he's now off the ball a lot more?
Well, I wouldn't say RJ's off the ball. I've been straightforward and direct. I've got 3 point guards. I've got RJ, Elliott, and Seth. And I want as many multiple ball handlers out there that can make plays out there on the floor, and you can add Harrison out there. And so, and all 4 of them can make plays with the ball in their hands and without the ball. So it's not a situation of taking the ball out of RJ's hands. This is the 8th game that he scored 20 points. Well, in order to score, the ball's got to be in your hand. So he has the ball in his hands.
All right, let me rephrase that then.
Okay.
As creative a playmaker as Elliott is, how much, if any, has that helped him?
I think it's helped having multiple guys that can create, not just Elliott. I was talking about, you know, Seth and Harrison, Cormac. I think, you know, we have a team that enjoys making that extra pass. And so I think that unselfishness really helps out RJ, but it helps out everybody on this team.
Hubert, what was your impression of how the guys came back from the holiday break?
They were great.
I mean, it looked like there wasn't a lot of rust you had to knock off tonight.
No, I thought the first practice when they came back was gonna be bejeebies, and it was not. It was really good. It was really, really good. And, the 3 practices leading up to this game, I thought, in terms of attention to detail, the energy and the effort and the enthusiasm was right where I wanted it to be. And so I was shocked. And so I thought that first practice was gonna be not very good, and it was really good.
Everybody good? All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Coach.